Thank you, Chad and Ruby. Thank you very much. That was really inspiring. It's really important for people to know what is happening on the ground. And that conversation that you just had is very much helpful. People need to know that, in fact, every contribution you give, anything you can give, makes an impact, and that impact multiplies. So the other segment, on behalf of my fellow board members, Chris, Magali, Ernest, Jean-Francois, and Jenna, welcome to the presentation of the 2021 Max Pulgar-Vidal Award. This year's recipient is my good friend, mentor, Karl Racine, the Attorney General of Washington, D.C. Tonight, Roots is recognizing Attorney General Racine for his career as a lawyer, for his achievement in advancing justice, civil rights, the rule of law, on behalf of not only residents of Washington, D.C., but also the American people. And for his commitment to Haiti, to its people at home and us in the diaspora. From his early days as the captain of UPenn basketball championship teams, a passionate public defender representing under-resourced youth in Washington, D.C., an associate White House counsel, to becoming the first managing partner of the top 100 law firm in the United States, and now the first independently elected Attorney General of the District of Columbia. Karl has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to providing effective legal representation to everyone, protecting the rights of others, and his leadership from any position in every position that he has occupied. Simply put, Attorney General Karl Racine has used that Haitian grit, that Haitian determination to work hard, to work smart, to make the world a better place. But that's not the only part of the reason. That's the only part of the reason we're honoring Karl Racine today. From my perspective as a young Haitian boy, who was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Karl in Washington, D.C., I have to say, but for the fact that both of our mothers were born in Okai, I have these three comments for Karl. First, you truly are a groundbreaking, on-the-court leader like Michael Jordan. You're compassionate. You have a legal, strategic mind, like one of my other mentors, Charles Ogletree. And your leadership and determined spirit is that of the late A. Leon Higginbotham, who has nurtured me as well. So you see, I knew Karl when Karl was this Haitian superstar for Washington, D.C., and I was just entering college. He led the UPenn basketball team to 2 Ivy League championships, graduated from UVA Law School, worked at leading law firm in Washington, D.C., but it wasn't until 1993, when Michael Jordan was essentially redefining sports, that's when I finally had a chance to meet Karl Racine. For me, Karl defined the role of a young Haitian American lawyer. When I started working for Karl in 1993, he had just started working at the Public Defender Service. And like Charles Ogletree, Michelle Roberts before him, Karl and Rudy Brioché were defending so-called at-risk youth at the height of the crack epidemic. And this is before the 1994 crime bill. During that time, young Black boys in Washington, D.C., and Brooklyn, New York, and L.A. in particular, were being carted away in busloads to jail. In D.C., they were being shipped off to the youth center in Lawton. Karl taught me not only how to think strategically like a lawyer, but how to embrace and use the law, use the facts, use the process, and to be guided by my heart, my sense of compassion, and my desire to be great. As Judge Higginbotham said, there's no time for foolishness. Karl takes that seriously. So Carl, your decency, your demonstrated commitment, your resiliency, your compassion, your leadership in action, you're the guy on the basketball court. No matter what position you're playing, you're always running the point. So tonight, Mr. General, we celebrate you. To help celebrate and to honor you, we will hear from 3 brief special speakers who will deliver their special remarks. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Emilio Cividanes, also known by my nickname Milo. I'm a partner at the Venable Law Firm. It is a privilege to say a few words about my friend, fellow Caribbean American, and former law partner. I will focus my remarks on that phase of Karl Racine's career when he served as the managing partner of Venable, a distinction no other African-American lawyer at a global 100 law firm had yet achieved. Karl earned the respect and confidence of his partners in different ways. One way is that he cares. As we all know, it starts with family. It starts with his family. He then extends that sense of family out to his partners, to the employees, and to the families of his partners and firm employees. Karl was also willing to listen. In a world that places a premium on decisiveness, he was willing at times to slow down a process and allow for the collection of additional data points to help reach better decisions. He also used his position to educate his colleagues and to do good. For example, when the 2010 earthquake hit Haiti, he mobilized us to support relief efforts. Karl also continued to practice law. Law firm partners are a demanding bunch, as Karl knows, and we want our leaders to stay in the trenches with the rest of us. That's when I got to see what an insatiable curiosity Karl has. But all good things must come to an end. And Karl left to serve as the district's first elected attorney general. But I didn't lose Karl because I'm a DC resident. And I voted for him twice and put signs on the lawn. I couldn't be prouder of Karl and what he's accomplished. And almost as important, I'm very proud of the example Karl has set by announcing that he's stepping down after this, his second term. It reminds me of this nation's founding father, George Washington, who also stepped down after 2 terms and set the unwritten rule that lasted a century and a half. As he has done all along, Karl is leading by example through his values and huge heart. Karl, congratulations. I'm going to celebrate. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aurélie Mathieu. I am a first-generation Haitian American attorney here in Washington, D.C., and I am not only Karl's colleague, but I am blessed to be his mentee and Haitian sister. It's such an honor to celebrate the most selfless leader and public servant I know. Not only has he opened up so many doors for me, but he spends every second of his life leading by example, by fighting for the most vulnerable individuals in the district, Haiti, and honestly, anyone who reaches out to him and asks for help. There is not one time that I've seen that Karl wasn't willing to help somebody at the drop of a beat. I've had the honor to learn from the best public servant, how to be the best public servant from him. The other day, he shared an article about his mother's wonderful work ethic at the beginning of her career when she moved to Washington, D.C. There is no doubt that, Karl, you got your work ethic from one of the most inspiring Haitian Potomitans to have ever lived, Mary Racine. She used to be a regular attendee at this event every year, and I know that she would be your biggest cheerleader right now. So, Karl, on behalf of myself, the entire OAG family, we are proud of you and congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gladys Longchamp. I have been a resident of the DC metropolitan area for 46 years. And my family and the Racine family have known each other for that much time, if not longer. We entertain socio-professional relations with Karl's family. First of all, it was with Marie around work for the Haitian refugees in the 70s and 80s and other types of work. I have collaborated with Marie on the Academy of Creole Haitien and the Lumbi Fund. And later on, one other things also as volunteers, as we both volunteered in the community. Mwen vini parmi nou aswaya pou di chapeau bas, hats off to Karl Racine on behalf of the Haitian American community of the DC, Maryland, and Virginia areas. We are in awe of you and of your many achievements, Karl Racine. While the situation of our home country, Haiti, has been causing us stress and despair, you unabashedly still claim your Haitian heritage at every opportunity. You are a giant presence among us and an inspiring example for our girls and boys. We applaud you for your bold and resolute actions. We cheer you for your vision. We admire you for your family values as a devoted son and now the very involved father of Karim Marcel. Your modesty and humility are traits that many others should emulate. There is a lot more that I could say to you, Karl, but let me end by saying that we jubilate and we are ecstatic at the thought that Karl Racine's name will be written in US history books as the first Attorney General of DC, the Black son of Haitian immigrants, elected not once, but twice. From your fellow Haitian Americans of this area, congratulations, Karl, excelsior, onward and upward. Cheers to you. And thank you to Roots of Development for inviting me to speak. Merci en pile, merci.
So on behalf of Roots of Development, it is my esteemed honor to present the 2021 Max Pulgar-Vidal Award to the son of Haiti, Port-au-Prince, Okai, Quadrubuquet, the Attorney General of the District of Columbia, Karl A. Racine.